Hey, thanks for stopping by. This is just going to be my opinion or review. It's actually going to be a recommendation for a new show on Amazon Prime. It's called Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So I just watched the first episode. There's more. I thought it was actually only supposed to drop tomorrow on the 2nd of February. Today's the 1st, and it's here. So I really only had enough time to watch the first episode. Otherwise, I probably would have watched all of them because they seem to have dropped everything at once. But I thought I would give you my opinion, which is what I do on this channel. I don't really do in depth reviews, I just say what I think of it. So, yeah, it's good. I like it. I'll be watching the rest of them, I can tell you that. Now, unless it goes downhill, which I doubt after it, I think it's going to be an interesting show. So, the title, I guess you would say people might potentially get it confused with the movie with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, which is from 2005. Uh, there's elements of it being along that line. It's definitely not a remake with the same characters. It's something a little bit different, but so far I've enjoyed the first episode. Um, the movie with Pitt and Jolie was much more action packed in this first episode. In the movie, they didn't know that each other were a spy working for um, two separate companies that were competing. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's worthwhile. It's a good action show, a little bit of humor in it, so not bad. So this episode or this show it's in the spy realm. Um, but they start off very differently. The show starts off with a couple on a farm or something out in the country, just relaxing, and suddenly they see a car appear, sets off an alarm. They suddenly go produce weapons, very much Mr. and Mrs. Smith type thing. And then there's a gun battle, which doesn't last very long, and they both get killed. So I'm assuming they get killed. They both get shot. They might survive, but anyways, I'm not sure why that's there, other than foreshadowing or something like that. But maybe what will happen to this Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So then the show kind of moves along more or less slowly, and it's kind of a good thing about it because the dialogue in this is very good. You do have Donald Glover, who I really like from Atlanta, um, and Solo movie and Community, and just a lot of stuff he's done. More, I would not really consider him an action star, more of a comedic actor, but he does all right in this. They don't get into a lot of action, so so far, you don't have to worry about whether he can do that or not. And then, to be honest, the young lady that plays opposite him, I have no idea who she is, but she does quite well with what she is there for. So both of them are hired individually by some unknown entity. You see them at the start doing like the equivalent of a Zoom session where they're answering a bunch of questions. You don't see the person on the other end of the Zoom, you just see typed on the display. And they're asked various questions about themselves and stuff like that. And ultimately, they get hired with, they say nobody else wanted them. So, why they're hired, what the organization is, it never says. But they are put together as a couple. And so, some of the part that you like is that they don't automatically jump into bed or have a relationship. It's maybe a slow burn, if you want to say that. But there's a lot of good dialogue back and forth as they sort of feeling each other out to see. They don't know if they can trust the other person. They know nothing about the other person. Um, they just are thrown together and said that they're a couple, husband and wife. So A lot of good dialogue, sort of feeling them out, and you can tell that she says at one point that she has trust issues, so he doesn't know whether she's telling him the truth at ever, and so they're feeling each other out. But yeah, it's good. Just find it smartly. I love well written stuff. I like to see well written stuff. So much of the stuff on TV now or streaming is shit. The writing sucks. And I mean, this is not huge speeches or whatever. It's just two people sitting in a restaurant. You can see in the clip I'm showing on the screen, they're sitting in a restaurant. She's having a coffee, he's having a green tea because they are opposites in that way. And he's just trying to ask some questions low key to find out more about her, and she's deflecting all his questions and he doesn't really answer her questions in response. So you see just kind of a clever back and forth with them, and you can, because it's written so well, you can get that they're trying to feel each other out, that they don't trust each other, they don't, because they don't know each other, and they're just trying to find their way on this. So they do get given a mission by a laptop with the same sort of screen that pops up there to follow a woman and intercept a package. So then you just see them again, very low key, no fighting, no chase scenes or whatever. They're just walking after a woman. Pick her up in the restaurant that you see the clip from, and follow her. And she goes here and there, and they're trying to surveil her from a distance. And during that, you still get this conversation where they're again feeling each other out, trying to determine whether they can trust the other person or what, whether this is going to work between the two of them, why they're here, that kind of stuff. And so they follow a woman around a bit until she picks up a box, which they then have to figure out. And they figure out kind of a clever way to get it from her. In that Donald Glover runs into a store, buys something in a box, and anyways, they bump the woman and drop the box, and they end up switching boxes. So they get their boxes, the other box, and that's kind of the end of it. And you think, oh, well, that's kind of boring. That nothing much happened. So this opinion does have spoilers. So then they walk away, and they're given an address to take the box to. So they take it into a house, and it looks like there's a wedding going or being planned or something. And they go into the kitchen, and they're kind of like, they're there because you know that they're curious to see what's in the box, what they stole and have just delivered. And kind of a funny thing in that a woman takes a box, sort of acknowledges that they're there for some reason, opens the box, a little steel box inside. Uh, then she pops open the steel box, and it's a cake, like a wedding cake. So that's kind of a big chuckle, and the two of them are kind of disappointed. They don't understand why they just delivered a cake. So you see them walking out of the house and going down the street and kind of going, "What the hell was that?" And the one they're like, "Well, they probably just trying to gently uh, lead us into it." And just when they're partway down the street, the house explodes that they walked out of. So they actually delivered a bomb. And at that point, some of the security people that or people with guns come running down the street chasing them. So they have to sort of escape from them, go back to the house, which they both do safely. And that's kind of the end of it. Again, sort of a low key. This is what sort of interesting about the show. It's like you see the nuances of it, a little bit of action, a little bit of suspense, lots of character dialogue, mixing of characters. Uh, More of a spy thing than a straight out and out shootout like the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So this has got me intrigued and interested in seeing more of this show. So that's my opinion after one episode. I'll come back with additional stuff, but that's pretty well it. Very kind of slow pace, but a lot of interaction between the two characters, and some sort of jump starts, like when the building explodes. But I thought it's a good effort. God, it's nice to see something kind of clever being put on the screen. I don't know who the person is that directed it. Did a good job in directing. Donald Glover did a good job. Again, I don't know the young lady who's playing his wife, the spy that's his wife. Um, but she is does a good job too. Again, sort of this mistrust between the two characters, and trying to work out, ultimately, can they trust each other? So that all said, I'm just quickly trying to look up the names here. Donald Glover acts as executive producer on it, which is good because, again, like I said, he seems to produce good material and work on good projects. So, uh, it's Maya Erskine. I don't know who she is, but that's her name. Says she was in Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't remember, but okay. Uh, nope. Let me just quickly here. Sorry, this is slow. I know, boring you. There we go. And she's cute, which doesn't hurt. And let's see, she was in nothing really notable in the movie bit. Voice roles in some stuff. Let's see, anything on TV? Bob's Burgers as voice, Robo Chicken. She was in 3 episodes of the Obi-Wan, and I do not remember her. Oh, she's the main voice of a show called Blue Eye Samurai, which is another. I would recommend it. It's an animated thing on Netflix. It's good. Well, she is the main character, so cool. Yeah, if you're looking for something else, I'll maybe do a video on it. But Blue Eye Samurai is definitely fun. Uh, Animated stuff, martial arts. But this is about this project. Like I said, I recommend it. I'll be watching more um, episodes of this. Definitely has me interested in seeing it. Again, characters good, writing seems to be good, the back and forth play, even it's like some suspense in it and things like that. And so this is really, you can see the subtitles here, but basically they're back and forth trying to figure out each other. These shots are for episodes I haven't seen. This one is the first episode. So the gunplay and stuff, this is hasn't happened yet. So again, they're just trying to get to know each other and stuff. They haven't shot a gun yet. All they've done is they've basically delivered a exploding cake. That was it there, the explosion. That they delivered the cake and it blew up. But so far, yeah, I like these two characters. There's supposed to be lots of different cameos. Like there's Ron Perlman there. Parker Posey's in this. Has it? There's lots of people with just John Torino. Okay, there's some of the additional people that are going to have cameos in it. But yeah, ultimately, it's so far it's been worthwhile. Okay, thanks.